Deuteronomy 28 and 32. It says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Who done that? It sounds like slavery, right? When did it happen to them? When were they children and stuff given unto another people? It says, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. It says, the fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. Only oppressed and crushed always, right? So that means that you have to have one nation that had more power over another nation. That sounds like what? Slavery. And you know what I find ironic? It's kind of funny and stuff that when it comes down to these new age kids, that they want to sit up here and take slavery and stuff out of the history books. Sounds like you got something to hide. You see? And it says, verse 34, it says, so that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. You know, until this day, what'll be the modern day one? I think it's DCFS. You know what I'm saying? They'll take your children away and stuff if you're not fit or qualified, or if they think that you're not fit or qualified, they take their children away and put them in a foster home. You see? And it says, verse 35, it says, and the Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed, for the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head, right? And that's why a lot of people and stuff, they got to walk with canes and walk with walkers, you see? You know, because when it comes down to the concrete, if you go into the park, you know what I'm saying, they lay the asphalt or the concrete and stuff, when you walk on that, you know what I'm saying, what it does is that it brings the shock wave and stuff back up into your joints. But then when you walk up in the grass or in the dirt and stuff, you don't feel that same pressure. That's why, like, if you go to a job, they got those rubber mats and whatnot. And when you on that rubber mat versus on that marble floor and stuff, you see the difference. Your feet don't hurt as much. You see, right? Right. So this is verse 36. It says, the Lord shall bring thee. It says, and thy king which thou shalt set over thee. Where's King David amongst the Jewish? Where's King David? Where's King David amongst the Jews? Where is he? Where is King David? And the scriptures proclaim King David to be a ruddy man. Melanin, though. You see? Right? And it says, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, it says, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. But they always known who their God was. So where would the false gods that they would worship and stuff ever come into play if they always knew who they were? You see? And it says, verse 37, it says, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a broad among all the nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. So you're going to get called something else. You're going to discontinue from your heritage. This is a curse. How come it's not there? How come you all been knowing that you all been Jewish for a long period of time? When have you forgotten that you was Jewish? When have you, when has it been taught that you've been taught a different nationality than what you actually are? When has that happened? Never. And it says, verse 38, it says, thou shalt carry much seed out into the field and shalt gather but little in. It says, for the locust shall consume it. Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shalt neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them. You know what I'm saying? Meaning your work will be in vain. It says, thou shalt have olive trees throughout all thy coast. It says, but thou shalt not anoint thyself with the oil, for thy olive shall cast its fruit. Verse 41, it says, thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. You know what I'm saying? Your children being sold on auction blocks and stuff so they can go to another plantation. When that happened to you, never. But it will do. It says, verse 42, it says, all thy trees and fruit of thy land shall the locusts consume. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. So there was going to be a transition within power. You see, right? It says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. he shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Right? So when it comes down to Jake don't have their own businesses. They don't have their own currency. They falling underneath the currency of another. You see? Once again, whose subscription and stuff is on the money. You see? On the dollar bill, that's George Washington. What was his race? Caucasian. You see? Now, according to Ecclesiastes 1, Ecclesiastes 4:16, it says that it's no end of the people. Now, the Lord already created the nationalities and stuff that the Lord was going to call his creation and whatnot. They're not Caucasian, they're Edomites. The only reason why they call themselves Caucasians is because they come from the Caucasus Mountains. You see, Mount Petra, they lived in the mountain, not on it. You see, you know, all that that cave dweller and stuff, that's them. You see? And it says, verse 45, it says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed. It says, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. And it says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. They don't match these curses. You see? They don't match these curses. The Lord said don't make no vows and whatnot and stuff, but every time an inauguration comes, when a new president come in, they swear on the Bible, and the Lord said don't do that. So how are they the real Jews? Why they don't use the Paleo Hebrew? Why they use modern day Hebrew? Why they don't go back to the original text? Because they're not the real Jews. And then I'm gonna say this: when you go into the word ghetto, Ghetto, the word ghetto, when you look up the definition, it says dwelling place of the Jews. But a ghetto is like a slum, where people who are misfortunate or poor inhabit. The slums. That's what a ghetto means, with the dwelling place of the Jews. But when it comes down to them, they live in nice places, nice houses. When you go into Oak Park, when you go further west in Oak Park, right? That's what's considered as old money. You see, a lot of those houses and stuff that's built down there and stuff is slave plantation houses, man. You see, you know. Houses and land and stuff that's been trickled down and stuff throughout their families that they stole, like the Balfour Declaration. You see? You know? So this is verse 46. It says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder. It says, and upon thy seed forever. It said, because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. It says, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. Now, when we go to the store, you might have a Jake that worked there, but they don't own the place. Or even if they own the place and stuff, and it's a Israelite-owned business, the thing is that guess what? They still got to pay the property tax because they will never own the land. You see, they still got to pay bills, right? If they come up with their own way and stuff, or own electrical source, guess what? Esau will come through and stuff and take that shit out. You see, because even if you don't, because you're not put in a situation where you got to pay taxes to them, and if you can't pay taxes to them, they're gonna declare you a terrorist. If you have a way and stuff to be able to supply for yourself, or remember drinking rainwater or collecting rainwater, that was considered as a terrorist act. You see, and it says right. So when it comes down to your clothes, the food, and everything, that all goes to Esau. You got to go to the Edomites or the heathens. You see, we are not self-sufficient and stuff within this land. You see, we ain't creating our own currency and making a deal where we can use our currency and stuff within the Americas. That's not happening. You're not growing your own food. You can't sell your own food. You can't even sell water. You see, you'll get fined if they catch you selling water. That's why all the little candy houses and whatnot, right? They were shutting those things down and stuff because they was tax free. If you're gonna establish any type of business and whatnot, Esau got to have his paw in it. You see, and verse 48. It says, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And when you go into Google and you put yoke of iron and stuff, what nation of people or what race of people and stuff tend to come up with that? You know what I'm saying? You know, they had the little metal iron necklace and whatnot and stuff, but then it had the bell. So if you try to run away from the plantation and stuff, the dogs will hear you. Or they had the ones and stuff that had them gigantic hooks on it. So if you was in a narrow forest and whatnot, you wasn't gonna be able to swivel in and out of those tree posts, man. You see? Or they had a one and stuff where you sitting up, you being a piece of wood, where your hands and stuff would be like that, and you wouldn't be able to feed yourself. You had to have somebody else to help you. You see, right? And what would be the modern day yokes of what would be the modern day yokes? The modern day yokes and stuff would be ID, birth certificate, passport, social security. If you don't get that and stuff, then guess what? You are unknown and stuff within society, you see? You know, and you need that and stuff to make transactions. You need that and stuff to be able to go place to place. You see? You know? Those are the modern day yokes. Because without that and stuff, you can't do anything. And when it, right? So it says, verse 49, it says, the Lord Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. And when it comes down to the eagle, right? Back then and stuff, this was referring to 66 AD to 66 to 70 AD, when it was going into the Roman persecution. But it could be used also for today's time and stuff. And what is the symbol of the eagle and stuff, right? You read Obadiah, right? What's the symbol of the eagle and stuff? What nation of people and stuff use that symbol? They're Edomites, Caucasians, white people. You see? Right? And it says, verse 50, it says, a nation of fierce countenance which shall not regard the persons of the old, nor shew forth or nor shew favor to the young. You see? Old people to this day and whatnot, they still got to work, no matter how crippled they are. No matter how unfortunate they are and stuff, guess what? They still got to work to this day, you see, just so they can maintain, you know. And then back in the and if it was harsh work, you know what I'm saying, even till this day and stuff, if they want to make their money, they still got to do it. You see, putting them in harsh conditions and whatnot and stuff, you know what I'm saying, and they still got to do the work, right? Now back in the ancient times, if they was old, they still had to go out there and pluck cotton and all manner of weather, you see, right? And then once the child was old enough, they'll send them out there into the field as well, you see. It says, verse 51, it says, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed. Meaning we was going to work and somebody else was going to deal with it, right? We was gonna sow it, but somebody else was gonna reap. And it says, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil. It says, or the increase of thy king, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy power have given thee. Now back in the time of the Roman Empire, you know You know what I'm saying? When Vespasian was emperor and Titus became governor, right? What happened was is that there was a great revolt and stuff because of the taxes. The taxes was too high. People couldn't survive off that. And when they couldn't survive off that, what happened? You know what I'm saying? People started to revolt, which is going to happen again, as it says in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. You know what I'm saying? That there should be a great insurrection, and they should come against they should have no regard against their kings or their princes. You see? You know, if things continue to get harder and more unfair and stuff, regular citizens are going to come against the government, and that's what's going to bring in martial law. Right? Right? And guess what? It also says in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, you know what I'm saying, that I think it's 15 and 16. The 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 16. It says, for there shall, well, verse 15. Well, 14, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, and talk about weaponry. What's the modern day sword? A gun. You see? It's an impelling instrument and stuff that can kill you. Right? Verse 16. It says, for there shall be sedition among men. Sedition means rebellion. It says, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Verse 17, it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So what they're going to bring shutdowns. They're going to bring lockdowns. You see? They're going to bring shutdowns and lockdowns and stuff to America again. But it's going to be way, way longer. You see? And being able to travel from one place to another, you're going to have special identification. You see? You're going to have proof that you're coming from your job, because other than that, they're going to have the right to detain you. You see? And then the military and stuff is also, if you bring opposite force, they will have the ability and stuff to shoot you on sight. You see? You know? Right? So I'm going to go back.